What's going on, guys? We're back again with another one. We got here the DDM4 V7 SLW that I just did a video on. It's gotten nice and dirty. That's why I mentioned in that video I'll probably just do a quick cleaning video on this, because as you can tell, this thing is pretty disgusting. It's been put through its paces. This thing is a beautiful thing to shoot, so it's easy to shoot it a bunch. So I'm going to use this as an example of how to clean and lube an AR15. I put some paper towels down here on the desk because, as you know, gun cleaning can get dirty, as I've recently done a few cleaning videos on the Sig Rattler, the X Macro. So we'll take advantage and do this one real quick. So as you know, if you're watching this video, maybe you don't know, these are your main two pins here that you're going to take apart in order to get the upper separated from the lower. So let's go ahead and flip that over. Let me put it down for you here. So you got your two pins here. Just going to push this out. Usually it comes out pretty easy depending on the tolerances. So that one's out. That one's already pushed out. Not like the Sig Rattler gave me some problems when I was trying to push that thing out. I'm just going to use anything that's, I like to use anything that's just plastic. You don't have to get fancy tools for this. I know they have nylon punches and they have all kinds of other stuff. Anything with plastic on it that won't scratch it, that's good enough. So I'm just going to push that out. Push that out. Most of the time, once you get those pushed out, you can turn it back to the other side and just kind of pull them out. Usually, you want to pull the back one out first, then the next one. Oh gosh, this one's going to give me a little bit of problems too. Let me get something with a smaller tip to it to just kind of push it out. Let me turn it back over. Give it a little extra push there. Hold on, all right. There you go. These upper end rifles, you got to keep them together so that tight tolerances, so that it comes out. Once you start turning it and messing with it, they don't like to come out. But there you go. We came out on both sides. Let me get you a little closer there. So you see there, once that pin is out and that pin is out. So this one's completely out, as you can tell. This one's still in a little bit. So once you pull up, that thing will come completely out. Now your two parts are apart. Get you back out. So as I said in previous videos, that thing's pretty disgusting there. I'm actually at my home base now, so I can get Q-tips. We can get all the way in there. Your buffer tube, which this one's been getting quite a bit of gunk back there. So we'll take advantage and just kind of wipe all this stuff down just to get this rifle back in pristine condition. Though most of this stuff here doesn't affect the actual firing of the weapon, but once you get in here, you want to just get everything cleaned up, get it lubed up, just get this thing running. The better you take care of it, the longer it'll last you, especially for the price of this rifle. You want to keep this thing nice and clean and running like smooth butter. So let's go ahead. Let me get some Q-tips. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. As always, as you guys know, I like to use, well, this is the lubricating oil, but I use the Hops 9 bore cleaner, this same lube oil. It's a whole cheap kit that comes together, but it does the job. It's sufficient for cleaning weapons of all kinds. So this is the one I use. Like I said before, there's probably better ones, there's probably worse ones. You go out there and look. And then I use this little old school cologne bottle. And you just need some kind of spritzer. I like to use a spritzer. You really don't need it at all. If you have another way to get it on there, that's fine too. So let me get this thing out of the way. I don't want it to get covered and stuff. So I'm just gonna douse this thing down, everything in there. Get close while you're doing this if you're using a sprayer, because this crap will get everywhere. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit there for a little bit. Hold on. Just kind of get everything nice and coated. All right, gonna let that sit there for a little bit. And then the main parts of the weapon that you want to take care of are the bolt carrier. The charging handle, I always give it a little bit of attention, though it doesn't need it as much. But that bolt carrier is the meat and potatoes of the gun. So what you're going to do is pull your charging handle out. Once you do that, the bolt carrier group is going to come out with it. You see here, that thing is nice and gunked up, dirty. As we showed before, that's how you pull your charging handle out. See these little tabs? Let me point. See these little tabs you got right here? Bam. They are, let me get something to point. Okay, let me see if I can get you a good angle. Right where that circle is down in there, there's some tabs in there as well. I'm gonna get you some light. There you go. They're gonna drop into that. So whenever you're pulling your charging handle in and out, you're gonna push right up to there, push it down, and push it in. It's got its own little track that it runs in there. So when you want to take it out, you come all the way back, lift the tabs through that hole, you're good to go on that. So while I'm gonna clean all these other parts, yeah, you can tell how dirty it is in here, all in here. So while I clean these other parts, I'm just gonna douse all this down. You see your gas key over there. I'm gonna douse all this down. The barrel, I'm gonna get all that nice and coated up. Before I do, I'm gonna put down some paper towels, because the barrel, I like to spray it until I see it come out the other end. So I'm gonna get it nice and covered right here. So once I spray this barrel down, I'm gonna do it this way. You won't be able to see it, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray right into, cover the dust cap so you can keep everything in here. I'm gonna put the spray bottle right into that breech and just let it drip all the way down until I see it come down on top of this paper here. So let me back out. You see? And then just kind of, I'm gonna douse this whole area up here. So basically what I'm doing is spraying down into that breech right there. I stood it up because if I do it like this, it's not gonna come out. But see, you wanna just get all that in there coated so that this stuff starts doing what it does, starts breaking down all that carbon. So I'm gonna shoot it down the barrel until I see it drip out the other end. I don't see it yet. There we go. All right, it's starting to come out the other end, as you can tell there. So good, now I know the barrel's coated. I'm gonna lay this thing down and just kind of let it soak there for a while we get this bolt carrier group and give it attention. So we got the bolt carrier group here. I'll just keep using this. This is really where you want to give all your attention to. I'm gonna go a little more in depth on this one and show you how you can pull all this out of here and give it a full run over. But for now, we're gonna spray this whole thing down. Just kind of get this thing nice and soaked. You want to get this thing all I'm gonna get my hands nice and dirty now trying to get that thing out of there. But that way this thing goes working. We can get the firing pin out of there. So I'm gonna let that do that. So let me get some paper towels. Let me get gonna get just a small little bit, any little, I like to use these little screwdriver bits. But what's funny is they made this in such a way that usually you can take the tip of a 5.56 round and you can get this pin out of there. I'm just gonna use this little small, almost like an eyeglass screwdriver, very tiny little bit. So we're gonna pull this pin out of here. Let me get you in. See this little pin? I'm gonna pull this pin out of here. This is what's holding your striker or your firing pin. See it coming out there now? We're gonna pull that out. We're gonna douse that. As you can tell, that's pretty dirty. Excuse the sniffles. Every time I start spraying, this stuff starts getting to me. Now this thing here, you wanna turn this thing. You wanna turn this thing like this. Usually it's like, let me see if I can turn it back so you can see it. See how it's horizontal this way? That one. You wanna get it, come forward, turn it the long ways. And then once you go back this way, it should be able to fall right out of there. See that? That thing is disgusting. And that, after that, this thing, now take note, see where your little pin is in here? You want to keep this thing, you want it to come back out in the same direction, you want to keep everything the same. You want everything to go back in the same way you pulled it out. So we're gonna get this out of there. Oh, that is disgusting. So how tight that was? That's how disgusting it was. So the reason you want to keep this back in here like this, I'm going to show you real quick. Your extractor is here on the, when you're holding the weapon, you want to make sure it's extracting rounds this way. So your little extractor, I don't know if you can see it. Well, I'll show you here. See your extractor? The lip of the extractor is right there. That's what's going to grab your rounds. It's this whole little thing here. I'm not going to take that completely out. because I don't think you need to go that far in depth. But this is all you want. You want to get all these parts cleaned up. So I think I'm gonna need more paper towels than I thought. All right, I think I should start using latex gloves from now on. So let me get this thing out of the way. Let's get the tool out of the way. So now we're just gonna generously douse everything here. Oh, I forgot to douse the charging handle. There we go. Just gonna douse everything, get everything very nicely coated. Because this stuff is disgusting. Just from the moment you start spraying stuff, all this carbon starts falling off. You can tell because if I do this, look at that. This thing's got black stuff everywhere. I see you, Brian. I see you. So there, we're gonna let that sit for a minute. While that's working, I'm gonna go ahead and take advantage of this thing. This thing's been sitting for a little while. I'm gonna try and do this video as fast as I can, but all this stuff takes time. So I'm gonna grab just regular old makeup Q-tips. I'm gonna try and get all the way up in there and just get all this stuff. I mean, if you really wanted to go in depth, you can pull out your pins. You can get the whole trigger group out of there, really wipe everything down and put it back together. If that's something you're comfortable with, it wouldn't be bad to do. I get that. There we go. You can see how disgusting this thing is. So let me get all the way up in there. I'll try to speed up as much of this footage as I can. Sorry, had to bring the video to a pause. My wife thought it'd be a good idea to just walk up in here like she lives here. I tell you, boy, women these days. Just joking. If you know my wife, she's the sweetest girl ever when she wants to be. So back to it. Just gonna take this, wipe everything down. Try to get up in there. Try to get as much of this gunk out as we can. I use Q-tips because they fit into all these little crevices that you won't ever get a paper towel into. See this hammer? It's pretty dirty. So let me just wipe that off. Okay. All right. There you go. That's pretty good. Let me get the side of this thing. All right, we can put that to the side. Actually, let me wipe down this little buffer. All right, put that to the side. All right, all these pieces have been sitting for a little bit. So let me go ahead and start rubbing some of this stuff down. There you go. There you go, that's pretty disgusting. Let's see there. There you go, that's looking good. It's looking better, all that gunk is off of there. Oh, this Q-tip will come in handy here too. Yeah. There you go, that was nice and gunked up a second ago. I don't know if you can see there. Whoops, sorry. Hit the camera. Let me get you guys a little closer so you can see the details on this stuff. So there you go. So that's nice and cleaned. So we'll put that to the side. Oh, hold on. Pretty disgusting up here too. All right. Put that to the side. That one's cleaned up. These are really the ones you got to hit real good. This thing is disgusting. So forgive me if the camera shakes a little bit. The light's attached to the table. So me doing all this movement might move it a little bit. Try to do as much in midair as I can. This stuff is disgusting. don't know if you can see, there's black speckling all over the table from dirt flying everywhere. So goes to show you how disgusting some of this stuff gets from repeated shooting, high round counts. There we go. Look, you can see right there. Let's see if you can see it. Super disgusting right in there. So get the paper towel in there. There you go. That stuff comes off pretty easy once you get a good amount of that solution stuff on there. So I'm gonna do the old school style. Let me get a clean one, semi-clean. Just gonna wrap this thing around like that. Shove it down in here. This one you can get it to come out the other side. See there? You can either pull back through or you can pull it out the other way, whatever you want. You can go this way too. There we go. Almost like a little poor man's boar snake there. Okay, let me try to get to this spot here. See that? All the crap that comes out of there. Try to get as much of that as I can. Let me, I'll use the firing pin. Shove that down in there. Rotate. All the disgustingness. Gonna need to get a garbage bag in here. That's gonna be our next most important tool to have. The way some of these parts are getting. I'm gonna spray this thing down. Scrub this thing down. If you ever really wanted to go the distance, if you have like a Dremel tool or something, which I really like doing, take a Dremel tool and take some kind of soft pad. You can put like metal polish and just go to town on these after you get all the dirt off. Get as much dirt off of it as you can by, you know, simple manual cleaning like we're doing now. And then you take some metal polish to it and you get that thing looking real nice. Let me get some more paper towels. I'm gonna wipe this thing off as best I can. This is the thing that gets the most disgusting. Let's see if you can see that gunked up stuff right here? That's really where you want to get to. You want all that stuff. Now this is what's connected to the gas. The gas tube. So this is catching a lot of the crap that comes back after a shot. Let me see if I can get a Q-tip all the way in here. And rotate. There you go. See how I come? Oh, look in there. Look how gunky that was. See that? Let's give it another shot. I'll take this thing. Soak it in some of the cleaning stuff. And I'm gonna shove it right back through there. Oh, got a little tight at that time. Okay, now I'm playing ball. Let me get another one. Let me put some spray down in there. And get another one. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Even on the second one. That is disgusting. Okay, I'm gonna give this thing some more spray just because, like I said, all this crap right here is really what I want to attack. So let me let that build up. Knock that build up off of there. Let's give this thing some attention. This one you don't have to do a whole lot. This one, once you spray that on there and wipe it down, it's good to go. See that? Now you could bring this thing to a very nice, very close to a mirror finish if you wanted to with a Dremel tool and nice pad on there. I'm gonna give this a little bit of attention there just to get that little area cleaned up. Okay, I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of a wire brush here just to see if I can scrape some of that off. Yeah, see? All right, that looks a little better. All right, much better. Wipe this thing down. All right, looking new again. Put that to the side, that's done. This little piece here, look how nasty this thing is. So let's give it a good scrub. This one usually also comes pretty clean with just a good spray down and a wipe down. Not as much elbow grease as some of these other pieces, but give it a nice wipe down. There you go, that's pretty good. Look at it, you can see silver again. A lot of these higher end rifles got very good parts for their bolt carrier groups because that's, like I said, meat and potatoes of the weapon. So a lot of these parts, very good materials. They self-lubricate. So a lot of these parts you don't have to go crazy on. But for some of us po folk, some of the lower end rifles, you want to keep much cleaner more often. Just because sometimes they don't use the best materials. There you go. I'm gonna have to take a wire brush to this one. This one's really gunked up. So let me get this. Okay, so we got a good majority of it off. As you can see there, nowhere near what was on that before. Still a little bit, but it's not going to hurt the weapon. Actually, let me hit it a little bit more there. So let's wipe this whole thing down. There you go, much better than what it looked like before. So we're gonna go ahead and wipe this whole thing down. Get in between all the little crevices there. Let me get a clean paper towel. Okay, we barely got dirt coming off of this thing, so that's good. Okay, once everything's nice and let me wipe this thing down. There you go, we get as much of it as we can. Let's go up inside this thing here. Up. There we go. Spin as much of it as we can, as far as we can. You'll see once that thing comes out how nasty this thing was. See that? Much better. You can see clean surfaces in there, so that's good. Get up under these crevices here, right up under your gas key there. Trying to just slide this between there. There we go. See that? There we go. So now once all that is said and done, there's really no more pieces to clean. We're gonna do, let me fold that over. We're gonna take couple of drops of oil. And we're just gonna lubricate this whole thing. You want to just spread it. You don't need a ton of oil. You don't want this thing getting gunked up. You just want to take a few drops and just kind of coat the whole thing. You don't want this thing drenched. You can even, let me get a fresh Q-tip, put a drop on there, and just kind of get up in here. Might still get a little dirt, yeah. But just kind of coat. They got some good metal in there, see that? Those are good kind of metals that they use on these high-end guns. There you go. Just get some oil in all the crevices. And there you go. Okay, leave that thing nice and coated like that. Now, I still got excess oil on my hand, so let's just get this thing nice and coated. Take an extra small drop. Look, see that? Super small drop. Just kind of coat this. Also the charging handle. Anywhere metal touches metal, rubbing up against each other all day, you just kind of want to leave it lubricated. There you go. Not a ton, as you can see. I didn't go crazy on it. Just leave it kind of slightly shiny. Okay, wipe my hands down. Now, I'm gonna clean up a little bit. Put some of these tools away. Almost forgot to give this little guy here some attention. So let me just put, I don't even want to squeeze the bottle. See that? Thoroughly just small amounts. Okay. So now I'm going to take this bore snake. This one's specifically for 223. This is the package it comes in. This is what it looks like. Put this aside. As I've explained in other videos, this is what it's made of. It's got a weight on this side. This is what you're going to want to drop down the barrel. I go from the breech forward. I guess you can go in either direction. I like to go the way the bullet goes, so we just keep everything moving in the same direction. And then you have cloth that comes here once you're pulling it through. It's also got these little wire bristles, so that's going to help scrub anything off. And then you keep it coming through. You got a little pull loop on this end if you needed it. So let me see if I can do it. Let me back you guys out. I'm going to try to do it on camera. Let me put some of this away. Try to do it where you can see it. I'm going to take my weight. Let me see if I can jack the camera up some. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let me see if I can keep you in view here. So we're going to drop the weight. Oh, this thing is dripping out the end. Well, that's the way I like to see it. I like to see it cleaned up. I'm going to drop that weight down the barrel. Feed it all the way through until I see it come out the other end. Usually I'm doing this vertically, but I'm trying to keep it under the camera for you guys. Okay. Once you see the weight come out of this other end, you're going to yank on this thing. If you got the one for your caliber, it's going to be pretty tight when you pull through, which is what you want, because you want it to clean as it's coming through. You're going to come all the way down. Come all the way down. There you go. I'm going to run it through one more time. Put the weight down in there. Okay, weight comes out the other side. Yank this thing through again. Perfect. I like to go twice, maybe 3 times sometimes, but it'll both do the trick. Okay, got excess oil all over the place here. Okay, so now I'm going to take Let me move you guys back in. There we go. I'll get you a little closer. So now I'm going to take my handy Q-tips again. And I'm just going to get all up in here. Get around that gas key down there, because that thing gets very disgusting. Listen guys, if you guys learn, you could take this whole gun apart, get all these parts out of there, and scrub them piece by piece. If you really want to get familiar with your weapon, it's a fun thing to do. Most people, unless you're comfortable in putting this thing back together, I wouldn't recommend it. Look how disgusting that gets. I'm going to turn this back around. So as I'm cleaning, I also want to kind of soak up all the excess liquid that's in there. You want to hit this breech right where your chamber is, because it gets very disgusting. Remember, there's a small explosion, gunpowder everywhere going off right there every time you let off a round. So let me get another clean Q-tip. Clean off as much as I can here. This is where your bolt carrier interfaces with, so if the bolt carrier is getting nice and dirty, so is this part. Sorry about that. So you want to get in there as best you can. Okay, for these bigger parts, I'm going to grab some paper towel. I'm going to run it all up in here. Look at that. Let me back you out. Okay. I usually like to keep the dust cover closed so that when I start spraying in there, there's not a big window right there that I'm just spraying crap all over the place. But try to get in there as much as I can, as much of the breech as I can. All right, that's not bad. All right, now the barrel, I don't spray any lube down. Whatever excess cleaning chemical works as a nice little lubricant in there. So everything else is pretty cleaned up at this point. So we're gonna put everything back together. I'm gonna put the charging handle in there. Come on, girl, sit in there. So I'm just gonna leave that for a second, but just so you see how that works. See, the gas key goes in there, so when the bolt carrier group goes back, the charging handle, the gas key, they all interface with each other. So I'm just gonna leave that in there for a second, because we need to put this thing back together. So you're going to put this back in there. Remember we said extractor to the left. So you're going to go here. Left when you're staring at it. It's going to be to the right side, wherever your ejection door is. Your ejection port. Okay? You're going to put that in there. Remember, this thing has to drop in here this way. Once it's in here, then you can turn it. You're going to turn it back that way. You're going to put your firing pin back in. The firing pin is what actually comes through here and fires the bullet. So you're going to put that in there. See how that works? Okay. Put that in. You should be able to see. So let me see if I can show you. So this pin actually is going to hold this area in so that your firing pin doesn't come out. That's what this little, what do you want to call it? The curve. This little area is down here. See, so the pin's going to go through there and hold this thing in place. So we're going to push it in. This thing's sometimes a little finicky because since it has an open end here, sometimes it'll give you a little bit of problems getting back in this little hole over here. So you just got to work it, play around with it a little bit. Oh, that one went in very easy. See the two ends? They come out right there. If you can see it right there. Okay, so that went in very easy. Nice little move it around, get the oils moving around in there, the juices. Okay, so we're gonna, let me clean my hand before I start handling the rifle again. I try to keep it as fast, short, and sweet without cutting too many corners here. Well, not cutting any corners at all. This is how I would do a full cleaning. This one is, I went a little more extensive than the Rattler. The Rattler, I didn't take apart the whole bolt carrier group. But this is about as extensive as I do a cleaning. So you want to get your charging handle back. I get it, once I put it in the little tabs, I just move it up a little bit so it stays in its track. So then, remember, you're going to put this back in. This top gas key here is just going to line up inside your charging handle. So basically, it's going to look like this when it's inside your gun. That's going to interface with that. See there? Your gas key is going to come in there, interface with there. Okay? So that's what you want it to look like when you're putting it in. So charging handle back in. Push a little forward just so it stays steady. And remember, this needs to be pushed forward because when it's back, it interferes here a little bit. So keep it forward so it's in line here. You're going to drop your gas key right into your charging handle. Once you do that, they'll all go in simultaneously. There you go. See how once it hooks in there, it'll take it with it. So you're going to push that all the way in. Hear that click? That's the front of your BCG interfacing with the breech there. And there you go. We got it back to normal there. So now everything's back in there. You'll always hear that. Let me see. That positive click. Once you come in, your charging handle will lock in. There you go. That's the sound of success. So let's go ahead and wipe this down some. Just a little bit. I don't want to take all the oil off of there. And then we're going to put this thing back together. I'm going to drop the hammer back just for the sake of having space. So in case you didn't know, you see where that lines up? So that's where your hammer hits the firing pin up there and fires off your round. So we're going to get this pin pushed back in. I'm glad that one went in. Much easier than the Rattler. And then this one pushed back in. And that's it. But as always, let me back you out. This is a must. You're not done until you do this. Run that charging handle a few times. Just kind of let all the juices go. There you go. Now, I'm going to clean up a little bit here. Get some fresh paper towels. And wipe down the gun. Your gun doesn't need all these oils on the outside, only on the inside. So we're going to take this, wipe everything down. You don't need all this extra. Your gun may be leaking fluids out for the next couple days. A little excess doesn't hurt. It's definitely going to smell like gun oil for the next couple days. Put this thing in midair. I'm going to give you guys an epileptic seizure with all this shaking. You can always get most of this off here just by rubbing. Or you leave the brass casing marks on there so people know you run this thing. So just going to wipe. Come back around. All this excess. Give her a good wipe down. And your mag well, any little drippings. There you go. So there you go. And I'd leave it like that. A little slightly extra is not bad. Once you go fire, it's gonna kick all the extra out. So take it to the gun range with that nice cleaning smell to it and let the firing take care of all the surplus. So that's it, guys. That is the cleaning of the Daniel Defense DDM4 V7 SLW right there. If you haven't seen the full video on this, go check it out. I actually just uploaded it a few hours ago. So this thing is an amazing weapon. If I could afford one at the moment, I'd have my own, but this one is not mine, okay? This is not a budget rifle by any means. It's just under $2,100 MSRP, I believe, right now. And it's the SLW model. They have different models, but check them out. Fantastic weapons. You're definitely getting what you paid for. They're not just running you up the price for no reason, though they might be running it up a little more than they should. But great weapon. Check it out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Remember, Jesus Christ is King. Only in him is there redemption of sins. Only in him is there salvation. There's nobody else. Not Muhammad, not Allah, nobody else. Only salvation in Christ Jesus. He died to pay the price for sin, and only in him. He rose again on the third day to conquer death and sin and to prove that he is who he says he was. So come to Christ today, forgiveness of sins, obtain eternal life through Christ Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit. I love you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.